Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're talking about how Burkina Faso completely re-engineered its entire mining industry in 2024. They've built something called the velocity trap, and it's a radical new system designed to get revenue flowing from day one. Let's get into it.
Okay, so to really get what's going on, you have to look at the bigger picture in West Africa. You've got two countries, both trying to take back control of their natural resources. But how they're doing it? Well, they couldn't be more different.
So on one hand, you have Mali. They're playing detective, looking backwards. They're doing this massive audit, trying to get back what they're owed from the past. But Burkina Faso, they're doing something else entirely. They're not looking back, they're building a system to control the future. It's like they've engineered a new rulebook to set the speed for every single mining project from here on out. So, you have to ask, why make such a huge, radical change? Well, to get that, we need to talk about the problem they were trying to solve, what's known as the slow extraction model. For years, the whole system was set up to benefit the companies, giving them stability, not to get money flowing quickly to the country. Okay, so under the old rules, a company could get a mining permit and just sit on it for 20 years. And for the first few years, during this so-called preparation phase, they were basically in a tax haven. They could hold on to these incredibly valuable resources without paying much, while the country got, well, pretty much nothing. And this really gets to the core of it. These stability provisions, as they were called, essentially froze everything in time. They locked in super low returns for the country, even when commodity prices were going through the roof globally. It was all about protecting the company, not the nation. A classic textbook example of the resource curse.
So how do you break out of a trap like that? Well, Burkina Faso's answer is law number 016-2024. And you gotta understand, this isn't just a few tweaks to the old rules. No, this is a total teardown and rebuild of the entire system. It's a machine designed to force speed and force contribution.
And the whole thing is built on one core idea: velocity. It's a pretty simple concept, but it's absolutely revolutionary in this context. The government is basically saying, you can't just sit on these assets anymore. You either have to start digging, start producing, and start contributing to our economy, or you lose your permit to someone who will. It's literally a use it or lose it policy, and it's now the law. So, before this new law, the maximum time a company could hold a large-scale permit was 20 years. Think about that. 2 decades. The new 2024 code took that 20-year timeline
And just cut it in half, down to 10 years. That one change completely rewrites the rules of the game. The clock is ticking now, and it's ticking twice as fast. You either produce or you get out of the way.
And they didn't just stop with the big guys. Nope. This new philosophy of velocity applies to everyone. Small-scale permits, they got cut in half too, from 10 years all the way down to 5. The message couldn't be clearer. The days of slow-walking these projects are officially over. But, making companies move faster was just part one of the plan. The other, arguably bigger change was about the government's role. They decided they were done being a silent partner who just collects a check. Now they're an active owner with a seat right at the decision-making table. And you can see that right here. The state's automatic ownership stake in every single new mining operation, it's called a free carried interest, it went from 10% up to 15%. That's a 50% jump in the government's share of the pie, right off the bat. But here's the kicker. That 15% isn't just a number. It comes with actual power. It means the government gets a seat on the board of directors. It means they can mandate that shares are offered to local investors in Burkina Faso. And this is huge. It forces companies to contribute physical gold to the country's national reserve. So we're not just talking about cash royalties anymore. We're talking about building real, tangible wealth for the nation. Okay, so there's one more piece to this puzzle, and it's all about making sure the country gets paid from the moment the work actually starts. How do they do that? By closing one of the biggest and most profitable loopholes in the old system, that preparation phase, tax-free period. And this is great. You can see it right in the legal text itself. Before, there were all these exemptions. Now, those tax breaks are only for the preparation phase, and that's it. The second a mine flips the switch into the exploitation phase, meaning the second they start pulling valuable stuff out of the ground, bam, all those special tax and customs benefits are gone. They're off the table. The company now has to pay taxes under the same laws as every other business in the country. What this means is simple. Day one of production is now day one of national revenue. It's that direct. No more waiting around for years. The link is immediate. If you're making money from the land, the nation is making money too. So when you put it all together, slashing timelines, taking a real ownership stake with a seat at the table, and making sure revenue starts flowing on day one, it's clear that Burkina Faso has completely flipped the old model on its head. It's a really bold move, an aggressive strategy, for sure, and it creates this powerful new blueprint that leaves us with a big question. Could this high-velocity model be the new playbook for resource-rich countries all over the world?